yeah, as I guess confidence. HBO's confidence in the show.
Give them the Emmys, man. Oh,
Fuck.
fucking annoy me.
Anyway, maybe
I hate this industry.
it's so funny. Like,
Pun
I
intended.
don't know if there's any other show that like I do awards watching for as much. Like, half of my conversations with you about industry and with William are about like awards watch. I was like, okay, how do we?
Are they gonna get their? Are they gonna get their flowers? No. I mean, back in the day, we were doing the same thing for Tatiana Maslany.
That's true. Tatiana is you're right. I remember Tatiana.
We did that.
And,
we did that from season 1. We were like, give her Emmy.
and
now,
when she won, we were like, we were so happy. It was so happy when
watch
she
is over.
won. Our watch is actually over. But like, I mean, this season, like, I remember when they wrapped shooting season 4. William and I were like, okay, so they've wrapped now, which means they could probably get it in the like Emmys window. Like I've said it many times on this podcast how like if it comes out before May, recency bias helps them in voting. So they could probably do that. And we're like, okay, look, it looks like Severance is not coming back. Which other drama is coming back that can affect it? It's like, I'm like, I've never cheerlead for a show this much. Anyway, guys, hopefully, as you can see, I'm trying something out, trying something new. I'm in a studio. It's expensive. So, you know what? You can always contribute to our running costs. Or just watch our ads on YouTube. Eyo, you ready to get back into this world? Like we never left?
I never left. I've never left. I've always been here.
Hello and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. And welcome to your newest bank killer. I'm Bankole and Eyo, and we are so fucking back to talk about Industry Season 4. And joining me to unpack it all for the 3rd season running. Remember that I try to protect you from this indignity. He's big and he's black. Eyo in them. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. Bank killer sounds like Bankole.
I know, and I couldn't get through my intro because you were
really
just like you really enjoyed that. Like,
that's really good.
Should I stop shouting? I think I'll stop shouting. Let's try something else. Let's try something new. Stop shouting
with the hello.
Well, not that part.
Or shouting people's names.
People's names. Yeah.
Sometimes you go small to go big.
What does that mean? What does
what
that
mean?
No, I don't know what does that mean in this context.
You know what I mean.
Size
doesn't really matter.
Okay. I'm here to talk about Industry Season 4, Episode 1. I'll be very quick with the admin because we have a lot to talk about, as usual, for Industry. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the new HBO Game of Thrones show, starts next week. Our Game of Thrones experts will be covering that. That's like the same night as like Industry. They're going to do like Industry and then Night of the Kingdoms every Sunday night. We're doing Fallout. Check that out as well. Every 2 weeks. Eyo was here in December talking about the film of the year. Very, very good podcast I really enjoyed doing. I was quite anxious about it going in. Just didn't really know if like it will work out, if the idea made sense and everything. But yeah, we talked about one battle to another in great detail. We talked about Sinners. We talked about some other movies that we enjoyed last year that people probably didn't get to see. And yeah, MCU 12 has begun, which is our project to rank the MCU movies and talk about one every month from January to December. We've covered the first film, number 12, which was Thunderbolt. So please check that out. And then we'll be back in February for number 11 and so on. Industry 401, written and directed by Mickey Down and Conrad K. Hey, what's the title of this episode?
The PayPal of Bukkake. Did you know what that word meant before this episode?
PayPal, yeah.
No, not PayPal, Bukkake.
I plead the fifth.
Are you refusing to say the word on camera?
No, as we grow.
Say it then. Say it.
No, I plead the fifth
then.
as to whether I knew what Bukkake meant or not.
Say the oh, you said it. Okay.
Yes, I did say the word. Did you know?
I don't know if you were like trying to set me up. I
did want you to. I wanted to see, like, I wanted to see how you would feel saying the word. Yeah, I knew what the word meant. I read. word word to wit. Like,
Irene, very good.
um, industry is back. Like I said, it's episode written and directed by show creators, show writers, show directors, Mickey Down and Conrad K. Hey, what did you think about the return of industry?
Um, First of all,
Yeah.
after watching season 1, I didn't think we get here.
So I was like, did
I
you?
didn't think we get to season 4. I didn't think we get to
I didn't
season
think we
4.
get to season 2. Like we were always like, yeah. But I think that's a good point, but literally and metaphorically.
I think so too.
Yes, I
Because
think
I think 1 to 3 told a story, like seasons 1 to 3 told a story that might have been wrapped up with, spoilers ahead, the demise of Pierpoint, which gets no mention in this episode.
I thought about that.
Bar one screen in the tender ad.
Was there a Pierpoint? I didn't see it.
It did. There was one there. It said investments powered by Pierpoint.
Oh. What, just Pierpoint, not Army Rats Pierpoint?
No, just Pierpoint. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, Pierpoint is dead. Long live Pierpoint.
Long live Pierpoint. I love this is why I really like talking about industry with you, because you mentioned some things that I was thinking about. My first word after the first episode of this thing was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed on my first watch, but not in the sense of how, like, am I enjoying this episode? It was more of like, how do I talk about this episode? How do I talk about like this show? How do we get into it? Like, it was so much was going, and then I think it's the most we've been thrown into the deep end. If you look at the
Yeah.
other like
Yeah.
season premieres,
Yeah.
and
It starts with, I think, 4 new characters. Like we see 4 new characters before.
you see, I thought about that as well. No, actually, because it's 2, then they bring in Harper and then they do Wit and J. Jonah. But I do think there is a version of this cut where Harper comes in after
that.
yeah, and they were like, we can't hold off any of our people until because that'll be like 15 minutes in, 20 minutes in. So I think they probably
Yeah,
moved
that's
Harper
fair.
in after Kieran Shipka and Charlie Heaton. I like that you said that this story wrapped up after the 3rd season, which is probably a better way of literalizing what I was trying to say, what I was thinking between my first and my second watch. I would this episode 3 times just to try and get a grasp of it. Most shows, and by most I mean all shows, like I usually tell you one story, right?
Mhm.
Like every season has like its own storyline or whatever. But like in the end, when all is said and done, it's telling one story. Even if it's
Mhm.
just Don Draper's, it's telling one story. This show, and maybe this is mostly for season 4 as we've just started it, but it feels like it's just. I was like, oh, they're doing films. They're not doing TV shows. They're doing. This is a film in which they're using some of the characters that like they left in season 3. Like you could watch a recap of season 3 and just go into season 4 without having watched seasons 1 to 3
Seasons 1 and 2. Yeah,
and
yeah.
fully understand. Like I was like, oh, they're like, oh, we're gonna do they obviously mentioned it last season. We're gonna do like a corporate espionage film a la Michael Clayton, whatever. And we're just gonna throw in these 3 characters really. It's just Harper, Yasmin, and Eric, right? That you kind of know.
Well, Henry.
Yeah, I mean, there were other people like obviously like Sweet Pea and things like, but I mean, like in terms of like the 3 main characters that you kind of know, we're just going to use them to tell this story. Like their previous involvement in the show is not relevant to this. Actually, this season opener, and I was like, oh, they just like it's very different as opposed to like another show being like, and I think we've kind of
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I think, anyways, I kind of resent the whole, talking about film and TV in the same. And I think Stranger Things that just left a really bad taste in my mouth. I kind of resent it now because I think what makes TV great is you get to spend time with your characters.
Mhm.
And it really is the story of the character, right? Like regardless of whatever else is happening all around them. I think it's the story of the character. I will counter your assertion with The Good Wife, which, like 4 seasons in, it's not what they're doing it's not. They're doing something different.
But I thought about Good Wife when I was writing that note, but it's still the story about this woman's return to the workforce. Because, like, again, Peter Florrick's actions will always still come back in every season to like be like, hey, remember what happened in season one, episode one?
Because he's a colossally bad
Yeah,
person.
but I was like,
He's
it
so
kind of
bad.
it will always kind of repeat those beats. It's still the
And I
story of
think
how
I
a
think
woman gets back into the workforce after her husband does what he does.
and I think this is about young British grads finding themselves in British
But they
society. I
stop
think that's
being
what this
grads along. So I
I mean, it's about young British. Yeah,
yeah.
it's about young people in London finding their place in British society larger, which allows them to weave in things like politics. I mean, you start with the framing of the workplace, right? That's your entry point.
Hmm.
That's most people's entry point into adulthood.
Hmm.
And then now they're going in a direction which is still about the workplace, but I think it's going to take a really, heavy political bend or tilt this season, right?
Hmm.
I think it's still about Harper. I think it's still about Harper's relationship with Eric,
Hmm.
which, if you just watched a recap of season 3, you wouldn't understand the gravity of the scene,
Hmm.
right? Like it wouldn't really make sense. Eric coming back and then having that maybe that really honest conversation.
Yeah, I think a lot. Let me say something that's in my notes before I forget. Like, I did write that when I was talking about they're making films, not in the sense of not in the bullshit. Oh, it's a 6 hour film, 6 hour movie kind of thing.
Gosh,
I literally wrote not in that kind of bullshit, but more in the
fuck
sense of like
Stranger Things.
we're just telling these little mini stories that interests us, and then we have the characters, but also like you said, we have the relationships, right, that help
Mm.
to tell those stories. And like I realized recently that I'm more of a TV person than a film person. Like, I just really love TV. I love the medium of TV.
Yeah,
I hate when people insult
yeah,
TV. But yeah, but it was more of like I think I was just really stunned by how different this episode was.
yeah,
And I can't remember what season it was, but there's a season of Mad Men where I think they leave. I can't remember the first name of the advertising agency, but they leave, and that season is I think maybe season 3 as well. But that season is kind of regarded as like the end of Mad Men 2.0, sorry 1.0, and then the next season is
mm,
like Mad Men 2.0, which is kind of again following the whole tender thing, like you said, like 1 to 3 of industry wraps up one story, right? And then this season is kind of like just telling different. Like I think I was just really surprised by like how different the story was.
that's fair. That's
Like,
fair.
and I was like, oh, you're just okay. So yeah, like Pierpoint is done. We're just gonna tell this. Like next season, they could be like, you know what, Eric is running for. Not Eric because he's not American, but they like. I mean, Mock. They could be like Mock is running for prime minister, and that could just be the storyline next season.
I think that's probably going to
No,
be the storyline.
but like that is like so. That's just like
Maybe
now.
this season, knowing
Yeah,
how they write.
yeah, knowing how they write. But like I was just like, oh, they could just be like, what is the movie that we want to do? What is the film that we want to do this season? Let's do it with these characters that we have, and then we can bring in some new
I
people.
resent that. I resent that
Um
that framing. I think what is the story we want to tell is a
Fair.
better
I
framing.
think
Or what is the movie
so.
we want to do?
I think the reason
Fuck Stranger Things, man.
I don't understand this, like this is like I did not
I
mention that
really
show
did not like
once. I
did
don't
not
know
like that
why.
finale.
I don't know why you went to that like quick comparison to that show. I'm just like
Because that's what
no,
people say whenever they start talking about TV and then they want to
but
say,
so
oh,
the reason
it's becoming more
so
like movies.
the reason I went for the reason I said movies and films and all that stuff is it's not finite because obviously these stories move, but like it's the finite nature of it where like the season ends and basically all storylines end. And
Fair.
then and then we start something that but obviously the relationships endure and like they've said that this is a show about relationships and I agree with that 100%. Like when Yasmin and Harper in a room this episode, I'm like thinking about all the history they have. And my mind is thinking about all the things. Like I'm like Yasmin comes into shot and she's talking to Wit, who is played by Max Minghella. And immediately I'm thinking, is Harper jealous? Is Harper afraid that Yasmin is going to steal him the way she stole Robert? Like all of these things are immediately going through my head because of the history they have. So I think, in case it's not clear for anyone who doesn't listen to this podcast regularly, when I say films and TV, I am not denigrating TV. Like I really do. It was more of like the characteristics of those storytelling mediums, in the sense that like a film story starts and ends, right, and a TV story it continues over. Um,
Enduring. Okay, I see what you
yeah,
mean. Fair.
let's talk about those new characters. Should we start? Um,
Yes. Which one to
Actually,
start
no,
with?
you haven't really told me about like your thoughts on this premiere. Like I went on this whole 15 minutes tirade about the nature of filmmaking in TV. Like what do you think about our return?
I think it's excellent. I think I'm gonna be bold. I think it's the best premiere they've done. I think it's the best first episode of any season. I haven't rewatched 2 and 3. I haven't done 1 again, but
I mean, one
2
is
and 3, I'm
pretty
just like,
good. One is pretty
yeah.
good.
I haven't done 1 again.
One is Harry dying. One is doing a lot of work because one has
Okay,
to.
fair,
Yeah,
fair.
one has to
That
do a
is
lot.
a pilot. Fair.
Um,
But
Trying to
yeah, I think
remember.
it's so far, like apart from 1, this is my favorite one.
It's just really fucking
Um,
ambitious. This 401.
it's
It's
everything. It's
like.
everything. It does everything. It does a lot of things that I thought they would do maybe 3 episodes down the line. It kicks off everything, and I think it's quite naked about where it's going. Like, it's not trying to hide anything. It's like,
Mhm.
these are the storylines we're telling.
Yeah.
There is the storyline of whatever shenanigans is happening at,
Tender.
Tender
Yeah.
that involved the former
The
assistant, which
legal,
is where
the
we
criminal
get
stuff. Yeah.
our first which is where we get our first new player, Kenny Shipka's Haley. Is that her
Haley, I
name?
think Haley. Do you want to start with them? I was going.
Let's start with them
Okay, I was
because
going to do them
because
later, but yeah, let's start with them. Yeah.
I mean, they're the first thing. I think it's a fun opening scene because I had no idea what was going on at first. I thought this guy
Mhm.
was actually just trying to like creep.
Mhm.
I thought Charlie Heaton, who is, in my opinion, take this out of it because I haven't really investigated this, but this just came to me while I was watching it. I think Charlie Heaton is the British Dane Dehan.
They look very. No, this is not. They look so much alike. It's ridiculous.
I
I
think it's the
mean,
same person.
like the moment he appeared on Stranger Things, whatever year that was, I was like, "Is this Dane DeHaan's like brother? Like what? Like they look so much alike. It's ridiculous." I'm not going to go as far as like I don't know enough of either of them's really like filmography to know like their acting
Yeah, yeah,
styles,
don't know
but
anything.
like, yeah, I was like, these guys look too much alike.
Facially, he has a very Dane Dehan energy in the opening scene as well.
Yes.
Um,
Dane DeHaan in
and
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
no, more Dane Dehan in Chronicle.
Oh, not Dainty Han in Place Beyond the Pines. That scene starts, and I thought it was interesting. We never enter James Diker, incredible name, James Diker's apartment
So
this
good.
episode, but they do, and I was like, oh, Mickey and Conrad. Even before, like I was like, this is Mickey and Conrad. Like they did something that I really love in filmmaking. I think I can't remember where. Maybe Mr. Robot is one of the first places I ever saw it, but it's like this. I don't know how to describe it. It's like this kind of zoom thing where Mr. Robot just do it in a very interesting way, where like Sam Esmail will play with like space Sam Esmail, sorry, and like the character will start off like quite minute, and then you end up in a zoom, but like the character will be like a corner of the screen, showing up all this
Oh
negative
yeah,
space.
yeah.
Yeah, but this one, the way the camera like kind of zooms in on him when he's in his apartment. At first, I thought he was doing coke. Then I realized he's just wearing contact lenses. And then again, he goes back to zooming on him when it's very voyeuristic. That's what I was trying to say. Like
Yeah, and I
it.
think it lends into what he's doing.
100%, 100%. That was like we never go into his apartment. It's like somebody's watching him, but also he's watching
Mm,
Haley. I was just from that moment. I was like, okay, this is like,
locked in.
yeah. And then like the shot of her dancing at the club, it's just a lot of it is just very like when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, I thought it was something her being sexy, but then you're like, oh no, actually, it's a bit more nefarious because at this point of watching, we think this guy is like creeping on her, which
Trying
he
to
kind
hurt
of
her.
is in a way,
Yeah.
but like you think he's stalking her. So um, yeah, and then he mentions her predecessor, um, with former assistant, and she asks about him when later. Um, what do you want to say about these new characters before we move on? to the rest of
I think
Tender,
there's one thing to say. I think it's just the quote. The quote's incredible.
which is
You say it, you know what I mean.
I don't know what quote you're talking about. Oh, I do know. Oh, I'm not saying. Are you crazy? I'm not saying that quote.
Wait, there's two that actually come to mind, but the one about the boyfriend
Yeah,
is
that's
the
what
one
I.
I'm thinking about.
Oh, the
Yeah.
one I said in the intro.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking
Yeah.
about the one about the ex.
No, that's also a really good quote.
So I was like, okay, Mickey and Cora. A lot of this episode felt very much like Mickey and Conrad at their most unhinged,
It's very,
complimentary.
very
Like
raunchy.
it was like gone back. It went back to season one, and it was like we have 4 seasons worth of like confidence. Let's do what we're doing in season one and just kind of go all out. Like, yeah, it's like I was like, this is why we're fighting this battle for these Emmys, man. You guys, there are 60-year-old men in the Emmys body. They're not gonna vote for this.
It's
They're
so
not gonna vote
good.
for this. I love this show. I love them. Okay, let's go up Tender.
Okay. Tanda is the new, I guess, the new institution,
Mm-hmm.
apart from obviously the British government, which I think is going to be another institution
Mm-hmm.
that we are contending with very heavily this season. Tanda is a new financial
The moment we actually
institution.
went, sorry, when we actually went into the meeting, I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." Like the cabinet meeting, not cabinet meeting. Those are not PM. Those are not
PMQs,
were those
not
PMQs? They were
PMQs.
not
It's not
PMQs. Yeah,
PMQs.
yeah.
It's just
But
the
you get what I mean.
parliament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, normally that would be all seen on TV, but the fact that we went
Yeah.
in, I was like, okay, this is showing us their intent this season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
And
Sorry,
I
so
think there's
Tender.
like at least 2 or 3 prongs of that. I mean, we've gone on this tangent, so let's just finish it.
Okay,
There's at least 2 or 3 prongs of that, right? There's that one with the new character. I've forgotten her name.
Bevan,
Yeah,
Bevin.
yeah, Jennifer Bevan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there's her and her interactions with Tender,
Mm-hmm.
which is I think one, well, and Whitney, I guess, as
Mm-hmm.
a person. There's that. There is her interacting with and maybe trying to help, I guess, Henry. I think that's going to be a storyline. I think
Mm-hmm.
Henry's political ambition is going to be something that we talk about. But then also, Otto Boston being in the House of Lords, I think is an incredible, I think that's incredible. I think that's so good as a way of framing, because the House of Lords is something that I think a lot of people, even in England, don't think about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bunch of boys and they're just there. They're there. You don't get elected, you're selected, and you can be there for life. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's hereditary. I think
Mm-hmm.
Labour is trying to make that not happen anymore, but it's crazy the system that they have set up there. Anyways, back to Tender.
Mm-hmm.
So Tender is the new financial institution that we are going to explore these characters through this season. It is I guess it is a payments platform, and
Yeah. PayPal.
like if yeah, it's kind of like PayPal.
Stripe. Yeah.
Um, that allows you to buy things. And it's headed up by 2 people, well, co-founded. There is Whitney, played by Max
CFO.
Minghella,
Yeah.
and Jonah,
CEO.
played by Carl Penn,
Mm-hmm.
CEO. And they have recently gone public. And now it seems like the tension there is Max Minghella's character, Whitney, is trying to clean them up,
Yeah.
trying to clean up their public
So
persona,
they
their
can evolve.
branding, and allow them to evolve into something more than just a payments processor.
Yeah.
He wants to become a bank,
Yeah.
essentially. Carpen's character, Jonah, is not really on board with that. He thinks that they found a really good niche processing and facilitating payments for port sites and gambling sites, which makes up, I think they said 23 or is it
Yeah.
28%
Yeah.
of their revenue for a year. So that's chunky. And he's like, yeah, good niche. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep going. That's essentially what the episode sets up in the
Mm-hmm.
first 30 minutes.
And I remember seeing Kal Penn's character very early on. I was like, is this too much even for this show? Like, is this character too much for industry? But then you realize that by the end, it's like, that was the point. Like, all the things that I was rubbing off against were intentionally there to show us, like, how far along the problems between these two characters have gone. right? Like,
Okay. Do you want to talk about them? Talk
yeah,
about that?
yeah. I
Because
mean,
yeah.
some things he was saying, I was like, bro, you're not Rishi. Like, we grew to love Rishi, so he could say those things. You can't just say them in your first scene. Like, I was like,
What of the things that he said rubbed us rubbed up against you the hardest? Like
um,
what made you raise your eyebrows the
okay, okay.
most?
In terms of actually what rubbed up against me the hardest was not actually what he said. It was how he acted. The moment I saw this guy wearing socks in the office and they just like lackadaisically vaping around the office, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel like a serious
That's
CEO.
not normal.
This
Not
doesn't.
normal.
And then you see, and then wait is wait is at a lot of point. And let's just go straight into it and talk about how this storyline ends. This episode, actually, before I go there, to contrast season three, we'll talk about differences between this and season three premiere. To contrast season three, Robert was already at Lumi for like 6 months when the episode started. So
Yeah,
we had our contact in Lumi in that storyline. This storyline is completely
you're right.
completely
You're right.
divorced from anything that we know. It's just happening. Like,
That's fair. That's actually something I didn't pick up on.
it's
That's fair. This is it's brand new. These are
yeah,
brand new
it
people that we're
just
supposed to care about.
nobody like obviously down the line we know it's gonna happen because of what happens in episode, but like it's just happening. And like it's again, it's the confidence of the storytelling, is the confidence in our belief in this world that like we're just fully backed into it, like fully invested in the story. But yes, when Max Mingela's character Wits takes basically overthrows Jay Jonah at the end of again, his name is Jay Jonah.
Which is
I
pretty
don't
good.
I don't necessarily know Mickey and Conrad to be like comic book fans, so it's kind of weird to just have each other. I think there's a Van Dyke in this episode, which seems like very on brand to a particular Liverpool fan. Um, yeah, no. So what was I saying? Yeah, you on rewatch, you're like you see all the places where like Wit is trying to he tells him like put on the scent I bought for you. Like there's
Yeah,
a
light
smell
the
going here.
candle.
Like he zips up his hoodie. He tells him don't say these things. It's like I think I have convinced myself in second watch, in the third watch, thinking about the show in the episode, that like, oh, Wit was actually trying to avoid this outcome. He
Mm.
didn't like he wasn't trying to like this wasn't his idea. I think he obviously realized
He
uh,
isn't trying to like push Jonah
yes,
out.
yes. Ideally, Jonah would fix up, and then they could like be on the same page. When I was like, oh, actually, yeah, he's actually trying a lot to stop it. But what do you think about the? I
I
can't even call
mean,
it backstab because
I think it's a generous reading knowing this show. I think.
he's not a good person. Let me be clear. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. But I think that plays well. But then when you contrast that with the scene where they're at dinner, so this is the day or the night before
Hmm.
they have their eventually they oust
Yeah, it's a
Jonah
board
as
meeting.
CEO.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the night before their dinner, Jonah's asking questions. He's like, okay, I need to meet this guy. Tell me about this. And then Wit's like, no, just let me run with it. And then Jonah is like, hey, you can't ask me to be engaged and then not want me to
complain when I
engage.
engage. Yeah,
Yeah.
but so I thought I agree with you to that point. But then when he's asking questions, he's like, "Show me Tony Day." I think your guy in
Yeah.
Accra, and then like it almost looks like Wit is like it's like okay, this guy wants to know more, and then he says it's good that we clear the air, but we can't be a bank. And then Wit is like, oh,
Mm.
okay, which is like I can't do this. Like if you're not like no matter what you say, you're just not on board 2.0. Like I can't because even when he's like you can't get rid of the crowds, but we can buy him out. That's like Wade being like, there's
Yeah.
a way forward here. And then he's like, but
Yeah.
we can't
Yeah.
be a bank. And which is just like, aye,
Fair.
cool. And then he starts talking about the girl he's gonna sleep with. And then which is just like, I can't do this, man. Like it's just like I think that was when which was like, I tried. I really did try to kind of to save you. And
Fair.
and it's just like a lot of things, man. Like it's weird. It's like those are things that obviously Jonah feels comfortable saying to Wit, but then he also says them in public at work, like things about maybe he doesn't talk about his sex life at work. We don't know. They don't show anything like that
He
in the episode,
probably does.
but he
He
probably
probably
does.
does.
And every time he's talking about his sex life, you see Wit's face. Like, Wit is almost like, oh my God, can we just focus for 5 seconds? Like, it was like, stop telling me about this person with a pommel horse. But like, it on rewatch is a lot. You
Great
just kind
line.
of see, yeah, you kind of really do see a lot of the things that are like going on in this relationship. We mentioned him earlier, and after this, we'll go to Harper. But James Dyker calls Harper and tells her that like these guys are bad. I know again, I
Siren
mentioned
isn't the one to show it, it's tender.
is that just is that what he was saying?
Essentially, yeah.
I thought he was just saying like, look, Tender are bad people, and I need your
He's
help
like,
to kind
man,
of
you
like,
guys are looking at. He's like, you're looking at Siren. Siren's not the place to be looking. Look at Tender. And then he's only telling her that because she's already shot in Siren, right?
yeah, yeah. I also just thought maybe he wanted, but I guess he wouldn't know that she's already slept with Wit because like
Yeah. No,
he
he wouldn't
makes
have that.
yeah he makes it quite clear that he believes that these guys are like corporate
Bad
espionage to like
guys.
yeah bad guys
Yeah.
like they get rid of people quote unquote, and it does make me wonder like where that would place Harper in like the storyline going forward.
Okay.
To talk about Harper.
Let's.
I didn't know that password was going to be the first time we see her, but like, thank you.
It's so good. It's so good.
Is that
She
your
looks
fit
so
of the
good.
episode? What's your fit of the episode?
Mm. Eric, easy.
Yeah, at the golf course.
Eric on Golf was too
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Too hard.
It's between that and the password. I don't know. I really
So
like the
hard.
password. I really
Eric
like
on
the
Golf was
password.
so hard.
So
Also, I think just the way the scene starts with just him, just there.
mhm,
Oh,
yeah, and then oh, I'll talk about the golf course. I forgot about this in the tender section, but when Jonah shouts, "I'm the fucking CEO," that's when I saw the writing on the wall. I immediately thought of like Tywin Lannister going like, "Any man who has to say he's king is no true king." I was like, if you have to shout like the CEO, then you probably lost the job. They have a fight, Wit and Jonah. The fight that they have in the after the new ad that lead and then it leads into Harper and Sweet Pea and I can't remember Tohib Jimo's character's name watching the
I don't know if they said it, but his
beaver.
name's Kwabena. I checked it.
Oh yeah. I think Harper says it once when she's asking him
Yeah.
to buy some stock.
Do the
Anyway,
email.
they're watching the Bevan's speech, and it goes from the fight. And I'm just going to say this out there. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to address it. I'm just going to say it, and we'll move on. I was hearing very strong Nine Inch Nails. Now, is this because Max Minghella was a social network? Maybe I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm just like Nine Inch Nails was heavy in that scene. I'm just like go back and listen to it. Maybe
Okay.
it's just me. Um, But even then, just when you think he's the good, quote unquote, good guy, as good for this show is, he does that chair thing with Haley where he pushes the chair and tells Haley to come and pick it up. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, sure.
Haley, chair.
Let's get to Harper 40, almost 40 minutes in. She's 30, which I guess means this 4 seasons have covered like 7 years. She's now quite, she's been aged up, so she's quite close to us in terms of age, which makes me even more depressed. Um, Talk about how. Where do you want to start with Harper this episode?
I want to start with Tohijima. I think it was such a fun surprise. I didn't know he was going to be in this
Oh,
season.
really?
I think everybody else I knew,
Okay.
right? I knew Max Minghella. I knew them all. But then I saw him, I was like, okay, it's
He's
him.
not in Ted Lasso anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He's-
um, do you think he is a new Gus or a new Rishi?
what in what way?
I don't know, just the way they're going to use the character.
But like what is like
Definitely not Gus, right? But like
he-
maybe like a new Rishi, like saying inappropriate things.
but he's not necessarily saying he's not owning them the way Rishi owned them.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he's been a
He's almost
bad guy.
he's
Like
almost
Rishi's been a
apologized.
bad guy.
Yes.
He said some
Um
stuff. Like when he said, "I don't consider myself a prolific masturbator." I was just like, that reminded me of a Lil Dicky line.
Jesus Christ.
It sounds like a Lil Dicky line. Yeah, it sounds like, "Oh, I don't jack off mobily." Yeah.
What?
So
It's
with Harper, sorry, go
mhm.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
So it looks like what's happened since we left is she started up this as short only fund with Otto, what they
Mm-hmm.
discussed in the last season. And he has had moves in his life that have made having having a short only fund a bit undesirable. So
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to get into the House of Lords, or trying to be confirmed into the House of Lords, and having a short fund, or one, or a fund that's trying to short uh what he refers to as companies that work in the public good,
Yeah.
doesn't bode very well for him. And but then he does say the truth behind it. It's because it's now his colleagues, or his new colleagues, it's
Mm-hmm.
their brothers, their sons, their nephews that are running these
Would have been
companies.
him, like him shot in Lumi.
Exactly. So it's become untenable,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, to have this short only fund. So how that translates to Harper's experience is she is trying to do this job, but every time she comes up with a new short case, or, brings a company that she says, hey, we should probably take a position against them, um, auto stand-in is like, hey, no, we can't do that. So it's essentially left her kind of feeling listless. Not really
Mm-hmm.
listless, but like powerless, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's the things that she wants to do, she can't do, and she's forced to do what everybody else is doing,
Yeah.
which translates to her fund only barely, keeping up with the market instead of beating it.
Yeah. It's so funny that Harper was so angry in her conversation with Otto about like being a figurehead, because in the season 3 finale he says that word for word. Like when he pulls out at the beginning
It
with the whole
does.
fish. I mean, obviously she rejects that offer and then goes back later. Maybe she thinks things are gonna be different, but like, why would you think that? Like, he literally said, I want a face, a
A
young face, a
figurehead.
black woman face.
Yeah.
Um but like you said, this all leads into her going into partnership, is the word they use with Eric. Obviously, after James Ashford almost dies. Um,
I miss him.
he's not dead; he's still alive. But I love that the show followed up on the very clear indication that he wanted to sleep with Harper last season. So, like, they followed up with that. Obviously, not to his best abilities. He doesn't seem to have done his best work. Um, but yeah, so she's in partnership with Eric, who is having a great midlife crisis
I
in
think it's a
Florida.
little bit past mid, but yeah,
To be fair, that's kind of what was running through his. That was the undercurrent of his monologue in Harper's apartment.
that's fair.
That the end is near. Yeah, he's got himself a black woman. But he's not a fetishist. He would like us to know. And
On
should
that,
we just
on that, sorry,
yeah
sorry for this slight detour, but he's speaking to Harper from the golf course. Harper calls him. It's like, why are you doing
yeah
blah, blah, blah? And then, they're having a conversation. Um, and then his girlfriend, or escort, comes up
no
and
I don't
says
think it's
something.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Says
Oh, I
something
just
to
I
him,
didn't
and then,
consider it was that.
sure, sure. He says, Harper says that must be good arrangement. And he goes, oh, she likes me.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
girlfriend
no.
experience fair. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, Harper says she sounds black.
Hmm.
Babylon, did she sound black?
Well, I don't know. We saw her, so it's different.
I
Like,
rewatched it. I closed my eyes and I watched the scene.
and you didn't
I
think
think
she
she
sounded.
only sounds black to black people, which I think, not to bring one battle after another into this again. I think there's a distinction there. I think there is a distinction there.
I mean, I would
Anyways,
say
carry
that
on.
like I very clearly like I don't know if it was in the performance, but like I could tell that like this was not someone who like she was just saying what needed to be said. Like, does that make sense? Like, she wasn't necessarily in love with Eric, or
Yeah,
even in
no, no,
like
it's
with
an
Eric. To be
arrangement. It's
yeah,
an
even
arrangement.
like she's like, what should I say here? Or I should probably say, oh, you look thirsty. Do you want to come inside? Like, it was like very kind of, yeah. And she's having a great time. Should we just do a very, 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 very quick detour to the golf course? Um, this is how I know. Like, by the way, guys, if this is your first time listening to us cover industry, we're not necessarily an unbiased podcast. Unfortunately, we love this show and we're like quite in the bag of this show. Um, but then I realized I was in the bag of this show because on most other shows I would roll my eyes at this Trump thing. Like, I'll only allow it on industry and the good fight. Really? Like, to be
It
honest.
works. It works. It works.
Two of my overhead lines are from this scene. Um,
Same. I think, and probably the same two lines,
Probably the
right?
same. I think there are only two.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to Harper. So yeah, Harper. Actually, this was one of my quotes, but I want to say it now because I think it's important to kind of talk about Harper's character. Where Eric is like, I think you find it useful to always have a prepackaged person to blame,
Yes.
and it's and another line. Actually, again, I'll just part of my best lines. Let me just say it again. Is when Roland says, "If you lack impulse control, why are you
You
managing other
shouldn't be
people's
managing
money?"
people's money.
And I was just like, "This is Harper. This is the character of Harper.
It
This
is.
is like who she is." Um, and do you think Wit chases down Harper at that thing? Like he wants like it's more than just sex. Like he wants Harper for a different reason because it seemed like target locked, acquire target kind of
Mm,
situation.
mm.
Meanwhile, I think Harper is
Maybe,
none the wiser. I think Harper was
maybe,
just
but
like,
I
I
just
try.
don't know what it would be for, right?
Me neither. Yeah,
But yeah, it did feel a little
yeah,
calculated.
yeah. He saw her. He left his drink. He went to meet her. He
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, like she was
His
surprised that
opening
he
line,
knew.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So they definitely he is. Yeah, I think we will probably come to a realization that like Jay Jonah is the more quote unquote normal one, and Wit is the
yeah,
psychopath. Like,
yeah. Oh no, I thought that was clear. I think I think he's really scary. I find him really scary.
yeah, I mean, it
Also,
wasn't.
shout out to Max
Yeah,
Minghella. I think he carried this episode. I
he
think his
did.
performance,
I thought he
like
was. I
if
thought he
he's
was
not a good
excellent.
actor, this episode falls flat. I think he
Yeah,
carries this episode. I think
I
he's
thought he
stand
was
up.
the best actor in every scene he was in.
Yeah, yeah. He's a standout.
Yeah,
He's really good.
like I was
And because
very. I
of
just think.
that,
Yeah.
he scared me. He's really scary. The scary guy.
But again, like I
Scary.
said, when you rewatch it, looking at him particularly, you're like, I can see you trying to save your friend.
Yeah, no, no, no. I
I
believe that's true now. I think you've convinced me of that.
yeah,
But then I'm still scared of him. Like the
that's
obvious,
fair. I mean,
I don't believe that. I don't believe his former assistant had Crohn's disease.
oh no, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
That
and but
was.
then there's
I don't
something
think
he
Haley
does with his
believes that.
face where he, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When he like locks into that, I'm like, oh, this guy, man, this guy is kind of scary. And then,
Um. Yeah.
so Harper meets him. He goes to talk to Bevan and Yasmin, which
Yasmin.
Yasmin didn't really do a lot in this episode. But
No, no.
but I think she does again, like talking about like the characters. I think she does what her characters like her main strength is, and it's
Mhm.
not the ability to speak languages, which I found so funny on my rewatch of season 3. Like,
I
I
speak
speak
7
7 languages.
language.
And that just laughed at. I was like, yeah, yeah, that's fucking crazy. But I think her ability to connect people is,
Yeah.
and I think she knows that now, and that's what she's playing on. So
Yeah.
perfect.
I think next week is gonna be a big week for her and Mock.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
Mock's birthday. I will assume
Uh,
that is the whole all the images we've seen of like the costumed.
the costumes. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
assume that's the thing. So I think it's gonna be a big episode for her and Mock.
So
Um
Harper and Max Minghell's character Whitney sleep together. And
mhm,
again, back to why he scares me. He says
mhm,
after they've had sex, right?
uh-huh.
He says, "Did you like the way I fucked you?"
Yes.
Which I think is absolutely insane. That's an absolutely insane thing to say.
Um, once
It
he
makes
said
sense
that,
given what comes next.
but
And
I
once he
thought it
said
was
that, I knew.
obvious.
Yeah,
Yes, like
yeah.
once he
But
says
then
that, it
once he
was
said
like,
that, I knew. Right? But I still think that that's just kind of insane to say to someone. So he
um,
scares me.
do you want to talk about like the favor he asks? Oh,
No, no. I think everybody should just go watch this episode because I don't think there's any point putting in towards it. It's so visual.
it is very visual. And if
I
in a
think
way that
everything that
again,
happens is so visual. Like him asking for it, her going to find his surprise in exactly where you'd expect that kind of surprise to
a black
be.
box. Yeah.
Yeah. Her adorning herself with a surprise and, getting
There's
it. There's a very interesting scene here, right? Where she's
mm-hmm,
holding it and looking
mm-hmm,
at herself in the mirror and admiring herself.
mm-hmm. I
And I'm like,
okay.
is this a power thing?
It is. Again, like I said, I read. So I have like kind of It is because I've
You're well
heard.
read, right? Yeah.
Yes, I've heard that like for
You've
a
read.
lot of yes, because there's something that Mahala does in that scene. Like when she opens the box, it's almost like she's salivating at a point. Like she almost like has to catch her breath for a second. But I've heard. I'm not going to go too explicit in what I say because I don't. Well, I'm monetized on YouTube now. I don't want them to kick us off YouTube. Um, no, but I've read that like it is a power thing. It is like a like the way she holds it, the way she like it is for
She
most
wields
people.
it.
Yes, wield, that's a very good word, wield. Like for a lot of people that, and I mean, feel free if you're brave enough to like let us know, correct us in the comments. But the people who engage in that kind of sexual activities, like for them, it is a power thing. For them, they like, they feel the power like that quote unquote men feel. So I think it is like, it is a power thing, definitely. And she's feeling that kind of power in this
Mm.
instance. And it makes sense that wits who wield so much power more now, even actually now that Jay Jonah is out, like he wants to be on the receiving end of that power, like in the
Mm.
bedroom, because he wields
Very
so much of
billions,
it.
but yeah,
Yeah, he wields so much of it outside the bedroom. I think we covered that in a very, very distinguished and enlightened way.
I think so too. I think it
Yeah.
was actually maybe our best 5 minutes.
Yes. Let's talk about Rishi quickly before we have to leave here. He is not quite Michael Clayton, but he is doing the like espionage stuff on behalf of Harper in this
Harper.
episode.
Yeah.
And we get the idea that he was not the idea, we get quite told explicitly that he was at the priory, that he almost killed himself.
But he
Um
wasn't really gonna do it.
it was not really, actually.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, so people like in our previous episode, I think was Emike was asking, like she was like she doesn't want Rishi back. Like, how do you explain, like how does a banker get rid of a body? And I don't think the show is gonna like naturally like explain that, but at the same time, it's like he probably fucked him up in some way. Like we don't need to know. I don't think we need to know the ones and twos of like how he got rid of the
Do you
body or how
think
he
he gets rid of it? That's
like,
why.
but like it's a gunshot. What does it
Yeah, and then
say? Like
you tell the truth. You are a victim.
you snitch on Vinay.
Well, you kind of have to. I don't actually think it's worth getting rid of the body. And that kind of like it kind of protects you, right?
Yeah, I mean
I can't really come after you because you go to the police to say, "Hey, this guy just killed my wife."
they can't.
I mean, they do. Then obviously,
I mean, it
police
doesn't
is
have to
going
be
to go
him.
find them.
Like he can just anyway. This is a whole different. I don't know if the show. Maybe you're right. That's actually the cleaner way of doing it. Of just like saying that he confessed to everything.
That's how I would do it. Yeah.
Was he doing anything illegal? I guess borrowing
No,
money
I
is not
mean
illegal.
coke, but
Yeah, but like that's not necessarily.
that's not linked to his gambling. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wasn't getting coke from Vinay. But yeah, so Rishi has obviously been through it in the, I guess maybe 6 to 12 months in season 3,
Mhm.
thereabouts. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, obviously Harper is sleeping with Kwambena, so we should mention that. Um, but like I think Sweet Pea seemed very muted this episode. That's something I wanted to add.
Yeah, that's on my notes too. I really
But
hope
she's,
she does more. I've missed her so much.
but she's
I
obviously
miss Sweetie
clearly
so
been
much.
through it. So
She's been through a bunch.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's kind of everything. Like we mentioned earlier, the whole tender thing kind of covered majority of this episode.
Yeah.
And Harper's thing was really just about. It's funny, like they built this whole thing in the finale, and everybody was talking about it post finale of like Harper working with Otto Mustang, and then they just kind of like, this is the most TV thing the show has ever actually done. And it's not that they just like scrap that in the first episode and like, we're going a different direction. Like, that's the most TV thing of the show. Is there anything that we haven't touched on before we go into like our overhead lines?
Um, couple things. I think my favorite moment of this episode, and I'm gonna ask you yours, so something about it. But my favorite moment of this episode is at the tender outing
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
Jonah is like shouting and he's like, "Look
Look
at
at
me,
me.
like speak to
Yeah.
me, talk to me."
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some drums that start playing. And then Whitney delivers a line. The problem is I'm not speaking to you, Jonah. I haven't seen you for some time. I was just like, yeah, man, yeah. Let's go. I'm all in. I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
Uh, the
What's your
entire
favorite moment?
the entire boardroom sequence works excellently for me, as anyone who knows my tastes would understand. So I don't want to go with that because that's obviously your pick. Um, I thought Mahala looked incredible, or Harper looked incredible at that Yasmin's thing. I don't know like what exactly she did different, but I thought she looked great. What was my best? Obviously, I've shouted out the suit. Oh God, I really have to go with the boardroom. I'm sorry. That's just
Just go with it. Just go with it. Like,
that's
it's
like
great.
I
It's
was trying to go with something a different pick, but it's just the boardroom.
okay.
Um,
And then I have another one for you.
yeah. Well,
What
okay.
what is your, like, probably not gonna happen, like 10% chance of happening, but you really want it to happen, prediction for the season?
Robert coming back, obviously. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
fair. That's a
That
good
was the first thing I
one.
thought of when you brought up that prompt. Yeah.
Fair. Mine is that Jesse Bloom comes back.
Okay.
I would love a Jesse Bloom, Harper, Whitney love triangle.
Okay, let's actually stay on
Not love, but
let's stay on that thread quickly because the prediction I have is that people again were saying, oh, she's gonna. I was like, I don't think she's gonna be in New York when we start, or at least I don't think she's gonna be there for a long time. So when the show started we have in
yeah,
London,
I thought she'd be in New York.
yeah, I was I wasn't surprised that she was still in London. I do think, no, I do think I at this point I think I know that we're gonna see her mom this season. Like,
Yeah.
when it starts with like the birthday card and like, do you see what her mom wrote on the card?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
L- l-
Yeah.
looks like you
What
got
was it
what
that
you,
you finally have everything you
yeah, looks
want
like
or
you got
something?
finally got what
Yeah.
you wanted. I was like, oh, this woman is really, really not good. So yeah, I do think we definitely see her
Bad
mom
person.
this episode. Maybe we get to kind of know what happened in New York if she stayed there for a while, or maybe we go back. But yeah, um, so prediction, like you said, I guess it's the Robert one, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
I hope Jesse Bloom comes
it would be
back.
nice. It would be nice. It would be nice to see him. Um, actually, let's do something because I was thinking back to season 3, and when we are discussing on the podcast, we're like, oh, we looked at like Sarah Goldberg who played Petra. We looked at Kit Harington as like the guys that were like the guest stars we're excited about. But in the end, it was like James Norton and Otto Mustin that like kind of really stole the show in the end. Who do you
Yeah.
think is gonna steal the show? Like, who do you think has, so not one of the four, right? The four being Kyle Penn, Kiernan Shipka, Charlie Heaton, or
Because obviously
Matt.
matching
Yeah,
together
so
already.
he falls into the Kit Harington box. But like, who are we
Okay,
not
fair,
seeing
fair.
that's gonna end up being like, wow?
Who else is there?
I mean, the only person I can think of is Bevan, but I don't really like.
Fair.
I'll be surprised. I don't really know what they're gonna do with her. But actually, the only person I can think of that is like, yeah. But that's it, really.
We'll
Okay,
see.
over headlines. Do you have?
Yeah, obviously. Whenever it ends up in the bunker, he shouts fake news and then the ball disappears. Incredible.
Yes, this is about Trump on the golf course. Yes.
Yeah.
I have another.
But also, I think some of my favorite lines are the hard
Yeah,
ones in this. But
yeah. So
what's your
they have
overhead?
another one from the golf course where he like. I heard he loves playing with Tiger because he makes him feel like a civil rights hero.
It's all right. It's
I have an
pretty good.
overhead line from Yasmin's party where someone says, apparently Vogue have a photographer here. Quick, hide all the rich white women before they do something brave and inclusive.
I didn't even get that last part. I heard the first bit, Vogue has a photographer here, but I didn't get the last part. That's really cool.
Okay, what are your best lines? I've already mentioned two of mine, which are like about Harper's character.
Fair. Siren is feminist, I think was delivered so well.
Yeah.
It was delivered so well. And then
The feet count here. The
Siren,
feet count.
thank you. Siren's former
Yeah.
name, Colonel Cream
Yeah.
Pie, I think was so
I
good.
really considered making that the title of this episode on the podcast, but like I can't do that. They will
I
ban us.
came up with a bunch of other
Okay.
ones. I think they could have called it Major Minge,
Oh my god.
Private Pegging, General Glory Hole.
Private Pegging is incredible for this episode in particular.
I think so
Yeah.
too.
General Curry Hall, well done, well done.
I couldn't come up with one for Lieutenant though, so I'll leave that one for you. That's your homework. Next episode.
That's something. That's something with L.
I mean,
Like,
there's a lot, but I just
yeah.
couldn't come up with one that was that was good.
Um. Okay. My best lines: jerking off is recession proof. Um, Nazi fertility propaganda. Just
Really
like,
good.
is that a good thing or a bad thing? Um,
But
is it? It means you're like optimal. Um, okay, so let's wrap it up there before we go down a route that we cannot come back from.
I
As
also love that
always,
Jonah spent double in Magic City than in Playpen.
yeah, I do not know what those words mean.
That's okay. You don't read enough.
Oh, Magic City is civil
It's
rights.
a strip club.
Yeah, but it's civil. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in
Is
Atlanta.
that
Yeah.
I?
Yeah.
Okay. And Playpen is
That's
not.
the one that Future and all of them go
And
to.
Playpen is not civil rights.
I don't know. I've never been to that one.
Oh, okay. But you know what he said? Black on black. Is he racist or anti-racist? Is he racist or anti-racist? Yeah,
I think he's
yeah.
racist.
He's fucking
I
racist.
think he's racist.
Okay. Let's wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Eyo. As always, in case it's your first time listening to us cover industry, we're back every week, Sunday night, once the episode drops on HBO. Wherever you're listening, it will be available on all platforms and on YouTube. Yeah, so whenever you watch the episode, you can listen, you can come and watch and listen to us. There's also TV going on that we probably won't cover, but we might talk about it at some point. One of our all-time faves, The Night Manager, is back. I feel like season 2 cannot live up to the hype that I have in my head, so that's
Really?
unfortunate. Just
There's a season 2 for Night Manager. I didn't know that.
oh my god, you see, this is who I'm dealing with, right? He doesn't even listen to our
That's
preview
crazy.
episodes. Yeah,
No, I
so there's that, and then obviously later this month, Shrinking comes back, Hijack comes back. Check out our podcast where we preview the January releases in case you don't know what's coming out this month. Yeah, thank you very much. Everyone listening, thank you. Please feel free to comment, leave us comments on Spotify or on YouTube. Email us at popculturevagina@gmail.com, and join us next week when we'll be joined by Oscar winner Daniel Kalia. Bye guys.